Welcome. My name is Kathy A, and today I thought I would do a complete makeover and review on the brand called Believe. Now this is something that's exclusively being carried in Dollar General stores, which are prominent around the USA. I don't know how prominent they are for the rest of the world. I have a feeling you're kind of out of luck. I'm really sorry. But you have some brands like in the UK that we can't get, so anyway, this is a brand of makeup that they've just launched. It's a very complete line. There are several primers, several brow products, several eyeshadow palettes. They've got some skincare stuff, some brushes, sponge, foundation, BB cream, concealer. They have contour sticks, they have highlighters, and they have blush and highlighter and contour sets, and they have these things separately as well. They have nail polishes and mascaras and eyeliners, both liquid and gel. They have lip liners. I'm really impressed with how many products they released all at once. I mean, I think there's hundreds of SKUs here for this panel that I saw. Now, a lot of Dollar Generals are just getting the boxes in, and these people are not setting them up right away. So your local Dollar General probably will have this stuff eventually. I know that some people got it early on. I don't know if they live in a big city or what, but my two Dollar Generals, one of them has it and one of them doesn't have any of it set up. They have the display and nothing in it. So I did kind of try a little bit of everything. There's like gel eyeshadows and powders, and this is a brow powder kit. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. I'm going to do a makeover. I think I will talk over it, and then when we come back I'll tell you how I really felt about all of the products in the line. There are some real winners in this group, and then there's a lot of losers in the group, and I think you get what you pay for in some cases here. So I'm going to rush through this because it's going to take a while. I will be back after the makeover to explain what I liked and didn't like, and hopefully you'll be back and listen to that, and I'll be right with you. So here we go.
Whoa, before and after. Yep, that's me. Starting off with Believe Pretty and Primed Hydrating Primer. It's a pretty light blue color, and it really does feel very hydrating. No eye primer, so I'm going to use the Believe Brighten Up Color Correcting Concealer on my eyes instead to take out some of that blue. Moving on, and I love the foundation brush. It's really nice. Okay, here's the foundation. It's called Skin Finish, and I got the Ivory shade. I'm just dotting one side of my face, and that is going to be buffed in by the brush. And that brush is kind of nice. I still prefer the Morphe 439 to that. Showing you close up. And it does kind of migrate into the wrinkles. Now this is the Skin Finish Tinted Moisturizer in color neutral beige. I thought it was the light color that it shows on the outside of the tube, but it's much darker. But once I blend it out with the brush, it actually blends in pretty nicely and gives me sort of a healthy look. Not tan, but sort of healthy. Out of the two, I preferred this one, but they both migrated into the lines and kind of grabbed onto dry patches a little bit. Your Covered Liquid Concealer in the color Ivory. I thought it would match the foundation shade that I got. And actually the concealer is quite nice. I think it's really very functional. It's brightening more so than concealing, though. It's not really a concealer. I'm setting that with the Matte Blur Loose Powder. It's translucent, but I think it is a slight pale yellow color. But we all have a little bit of pale yellow in our skin tones, so I think it kind of worked really well. Doesn't look dry or anything. I like the powder. It's very soft. Yes, we're going rather quickly here. This is one of the trios, the Get Glowing Highlight and Contour Palettes. Got a contour, a blush, and a highlight in it. They didn't have the medium light shade, so I got the medium deep. A lot of pigmentation on that blush, just going from the middle of the eye up to the back. And it's very pigmented, using a little in the 10 and 2 on my eyes. The contour worked fairly well. It was a little blotchy patchy to blend in, but it did last longer than any of the other face makeup did. I'm not going to use the orange highlighter because it's too sparkly orange. The Creamy Peach is one of the individual blushes, slight satin sheen to that. Perfect Glow highlighting stick in Pixie gave me this eerie kind of alien glow. Not a fan, not a fan. Yeah. Now there's 3 different types of brow products. I got all 3. The brow pencil is in blonde, but it's too creamy and it kind of doesn't make nice fine little lines. It only does smudgy lines. So I didn't like that. And it is an ashy color. It's not a golden color. So those of you who have ashy color brows or gray brows will like it. The Universal Brow Kit has a light, a medium dark shade in it. It doesn't have black brow color. I wasn't a fan. You couldn't see the light color at all. The medium shade was a little bit ashy gray again, and the dark shade was a little too dark for me. The styling gel in light brown did not stain my gray hair in my brows, so it didn't do what it was supposed to. And I put some on my hand there to show you how awful it was. Eyeshadow palette is Into the Blue. They had like 3 or 4 different eyeshadow palettes. There's a purple one, a nude one, and a blue one, and another one that's kind of rainbow shimmers. I found these were patchy, hard to blend. Some of the colors were pretty. I'm using some of the brow color as a crease color to try to sort of set a base, and I'm using their shadow brush, which I like very much. I should have blended a little bit more, but I mean it's going to be gone probably in 2 hours anyway. I'm just kind of sticking the color on and I'm going to blend it in. The crease blending brush is a little bit thick for what it is. I do like that dark shade of blue. I think that's awfully pretty. I'm not afraid of blue eyeshadow. I'm using my pinky with the silvery color light blue, just as little highlights, and going back in to sort of blend it together, using my fingers to kind of smooth out the edges and transition shades. It's looking better, but it's still a very rough look. This bottom shade, I call it the Heroin Addict shade. It's kind of a mutated holographic shade, if you will. Wet n Wild has it in their Comfort Zone palette. Going into an eyeliner, I really like the gel eyeliner. I would get other colors in this. This one is Olivia, which is sort of an olive dark green. And then this is the liquid liner, dark champagne, pretty color. But the tip of this pen is like a magic marker tip, and it's too stiff. I didn't really care for that. Now these 3 different gel to powder shadows are a really creamy formula, and they turn to a powder once they're set. The 2 lighter shades, Girl Talk and Dahlia, didn't really give me very much color. They swatched much better than they looked on the eye. They really just look like I put a little bit of a sheen on my lid. But the last shade, I think somebody might have left it open or something because it had a lot of pigment, it was dry, and it seemed to go on a lot better than the other 2 colors. So that dark color, Innocence, I would recommend that one, but not the 2 lighter shades. This is a lip pencil, long-lasting lip liner in Barely There. I wouldn't call it long-lasting, and it did not stop the lipstick from migrating into the lines. I got 2 of the lipsticks, the 2 lightest shades. One is Moroccan Spice and one is Soft Rose. Putting the Moroccan Spice on first. And that's the deeper shade of the 2. It looks pretty initially, but it's very waxy feeling on the inside of your mouth. You get that kind of butthole effect there, and I'm not a real fan of that. And that's the Soft Rose, very pretty. The Lustrous Shine Lip Gloss in Juneberry. It's one of the sparkly lip glosses, but I didn't care for it. It was awfully sticky. You're going to see me pulling my lips apart. Okay, here's the 3 different mascaras I tried. High definition skinny one is on the bottom lashes only. I'm going to slam my face into the camera real quick so you're probably going to miss it. Here we go. Hello, bottom lashes. All right, there we go. Then the next one is the High Drama Fiber Mascara, the purple one. I really like that. Took a little while, I would say 2 coats at least, to make a really nice hunk and lash kind of thing. Just using it on one side. Very pretty. I'm blinking, looking up, looking down. Very nice, and it's not a messy mascara either. The last one is the gold one. It's the Extended Lash Mascara, Lengthening. And this one made kind of the same looking lash as the purple one did, except the brush is shaped differently, and I think that's the only difference in these two. So I'm going to come up back again. So look up and look down. It's a pretty lash look. I really like the mascaras. Makeup Perfecting Setting Spray. Very, very pleasant smell. Feels like a cool splash of water. I'm taking a little Q-tip and cleaning up with my magnifying mirror. Time for the false lashes. This is the Delicate Finish False Lashes, and it comes with blue, which is clear. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see if I had it on the lash. I did put a little on my lids as well, and I let it set for probably about 15 to 20 seconds. Kind of doing the slinky thing there to give it a little shape, curve shape. Yeah, they set right down there and they stuck really well. They didn't pop up. I was really amazed, and they look extremely natural. It doesn't look like I'm wearing false lashes. They went on probably the easiest of any lashes I have ever used, and I can't say that about many things. So the lashes are definitely a plus, definitely. I really like them. So I'll stick my head in the camera real quick so you can see them too, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, there we go. Yep, very nice. Wow. Okay. And that's the finished look. Yay!
So this is the finished look, and I'm really pleased actually initially with the finished look. However, there are a few things, and I think there's some major things in here. If you're going to judge it by how the makeup looks when you first put it on, you're going to be very unhappy with your purchase, because come the end of the day, most of this will be gone. It's really frustrating because it looks so pretty initially when you put it on. So let's go over a few specifics here. Nail polish I'm wearing is the color Chakra, and it's kind of a whitish pale purple lavender color, and I've had it on for 4 days, and I'll have to say 2 coats lasted just as well as any high-end nail polish, and I think that out of all the products I tried, I'm most impressed with the nail polish, as in the Chakras, you know. Yeah, I like this. I like this very much. So that is a plus. The Color Corrector, I think, is too waxy and thick for older eyes. It may work well on individual patches of dark purpleness, but I would not use this as a concealer unless I really had a patch of blue or a very large age spot. So that one didn't work at all. The hydrating primer felt very hydrating and felt very smooth on the skin, but I don't think it helped the makeup last anymore, and it still managed, my makeup still managed to go into the deeper lines and wrinkles even with the primer. So I don't think the primer was anything crazy good. It wasn't bad. It's everything smells nice. It doesn't pretty and primed. This is the hydrating primer. I would just not, I think there's much better drugstore hydrating primers out there, so this one wasn't really worth it to me. The makeups are kind of interesting, and I tried to point it out in the video. The Believe Skin Finish Tinted Moisturizer. This little square here, it looks like it's a window into the makeup itself, and it's very deceiving because the makeup is much darker on this particular thing than it looks on here. So don't be fooled, but I thought this was my exact color. I thought that was great, and when I opened it up, it is a much darker shade, much darker. So this went on smoother than the foundation, but neither one of them lasted, and they both went into the lines. So the foundation, ironically, looks darker in the jar than it appears on your skin. So I would say this one is Ivory. It looks a little darker in the jar, you can see, than it does on the skin. So I just didn't find it was very hydrating, and it's supposed to be for all skin types. I'm sure a much younger person with no lines or texture on their skin would probably like this, and I have seen other people's reviews where they did like this. So if you have normal skin, fairly normal skin, maybe normal to slightly oily, normal to slightly dry, you will probably like this, but not if you have wrinkles on your face. The concealer wasn't bad. It wasn't a very good coverage. I would say it was more of a brightening concealer than anything. It did not sink into the lines. It actually performed fairly well. I think there's better drugstore concealers out there for around the same price, so I wouldn't recommend it offhand. There wasn't enough coverage on there. If you have age spots or whatever you want to cover with your concealer, this did not work as well. This color, I believe, is Nude, and it has kind of a limp doe foot applicator for the applicator. It blends nicely into the skin under the eyes, and if you put powder right away underneath, it doesn't crease right away. At the end of the day, maybe it's a little bit dry, but I didn't find it to be a problem in that area. I just didn't see quite enough coverage for it to be something I would recommend. The powder is really interesting. This is the translucent powder, but it actually has a light color to it. And I'm just going to pour a little out on my skin so you can see there's a light pale yellow color. And this is the translucent. I'm just going to show you here. You can see it's I'm not sure how translucent that would be on a darker skin tone, a deeper, richer skin tone. But I like this powder. It feels soft. I don't think I've felt a powder like this before. We have sirens going by. It's like I live in inner New York City. The brush, the makeup brush. This is kind of an interesting, it's very dense, and I've washed it a couple of times now. I like to try things for at least a week before I give you a review on them, because little things will come up, like there are some hairs that come out, but this actually washed very nicely and dried nicely and held its shape. The ferrule seems fairly secure, but this is the face brush. It's a little bit stubby for me for a good all-around face brush. I felt like I would have liked maybe another ½ an inch bigger of the brush for it to work as well as like my Morphe 439. I think it needs to be slightly bigger for me to really like it. It worked fine. You could get into all of the nooks and crannies with it, and I do pounce a little bit with a brush like this at the end to try to get rid of brush marks, and that worked. It worked pretty well. So I can't say anything really bad about it, except I wish it was just a teeny bit bigger and it would have been perfect. The blushes. The blush set that I got, to be fair, was for medium to deep skin tones, and that probably accounted for that nasty looking highlighter. It's just it's almost as dark as the blush, and it will probably look fabulous if you have a deeper, richer skin tone. And I think, yeah, it's got a beautiful golden kind of tone to it. It did not look good on my skin, so I didn't use it as a highlighter. I did try using it as a blush, and it didn't work that well. I put it over this orange as a blush. The blush itself is not bad. It's highly pigmented, but it wears off so quickly. By midday, most of my makeup didn't look like it was there. It looked like I wasn't wearing makeup, so except you could see all of the foundation that had crawled into and pooled in my wrinkles and lines. So the bronzer, again, you know, I used it to contour a little bit. It's a darker bronzer. Initially, I thought it was going to be a great shade for contour and bronzing, lightly bronzing, but initially looked good. The little bit that I did contour with on the side was remaining at the end of the day, so I have to give it that. But I think maybe I would try the lighter set for medium to light skin tones. They didn't have it left in the one I was in. Now the blushes on their own, most of them have shimmer to them. They have a very sparkly shimmer, and they look almost like highlights, all the blushes. And there were very few that were semi-satiny matte. This was one of them, and this is called Cream Peach. And I thought it was going to be the perfect color. And on the skin it looks very pretty, it really does. I think it's a beautiful blush on initially. When you put it on, it does look very pretty. It goes more of a pink cast to the peachy side. It's more of a pinky peach. But again, by midday, I don't know where it goes or what happens, but it was gone. It was gone. So I can't recommend the blush. Now I got the lightest shade of highlighter. This is called Pixie, and when you put it on, you get this eerie alien kind of bluish tint to whatever you do. I don't know if you can see how eerie that is. It's kind of a bluish stripe on there. That was a fail. It was a fail. I mean, it just looks so unnatural. And I couldn't find a lighter one or a more golden one in the group. So I think it's too bad, because I thought that would have potential. There were 3 different brow products, and I think that those 3 brow products, out of the 3, the only one that worked was the pencil, and even that one was a little unnatural. So they had a brow powder that came with a wax and 3 brow colors. It had a brow tint in blonde, which is a tiny little brush. I thought that had potential, but it did not. And then there's the brow pencils, which you have to sharpen. Mine's getting dull. It goes a little bit on the grayish side, and it's hard to get a nice little wispy kind of a point to it. You can start off that way, but it's so creamy that it just looks like a smudge, and you look like you have smudged brows. The powders, you couldn't really see them that well, and none of the colors differentiated from each other all that much. The light was, you couldn't even see it at all. The medium color here was, you could see it a little bit, but it seemed to go gray, and I mixed the dark in with it, and it just looked like mud. The wax was, I used the spoolie to put the wax through to kind of groom the brows up, and there were little pellets of white wax on my brows that I had to really work on to get off. So I can't recommend this, and I tried using it as a crease color eyeshadow, and that doesn't last either. I mean, I kind of humored you by showing you the eye look. You can already see that the eye look I initially started with is starting to fade. I don't know if it's absorbing into my skin, which is kind of creepy thinking that would be happening, or it's dissipating into the atmosphere of makeup. I don't know. Yeah, the tint I thought would have color to it, would color the gray hairs that I have, like the Essence Make Me Brow or the Ulta brow tint. Doesn't do anything. In fact, when I put a little swatch on my hand, I wiped up, came off instantly. It just doesn't have any staying power, and it doesn't stain your brows, which is what you would want it to do. So the brow tint wasn't any good. And then the pencil, again, you know, I couldn't get good wispies without having to resharpen during putting it on. The spoolie is fine, it's pretty generic. For the eyeshadows, I'll talk about these 3 because they're so strange. They're a gel eyeshadow, and initially I thought they'd be very, very pretty. The pinkish color, again, it disappears somewhere. It looks like it'd initially be a really nice mauvey kind of look, a soft look on the eyes. It didn't last, and then this kind of weird one, that was called Girl Talk, the pink one. This kind of weird one is called Dahlia. That's the light color, silvery, yellowy one. And I thought it was kind of a chromy sort of look, but when I put it on the eyes, it just looked like a little bit of a sheen to my eyelid. It didn't seem to add any color. And then this one, which is called Innocence, is a dark purpley color with a green undertone. And the purpley color, this is a completely different formula than the other two. It's more of a solid shadow, and it had far more pigmentation to it than the other two, and it's the only shadow in the bunch that I actually felt left a substantial staining power, so that it stayed on my eyes a little bit longer than the rest of the shadows. The rest of the shadows disappeared pretty much within a few hours. So the only color I could recommend in here that I tried anyway was the Innocence, and it's not the gel formula. It seems like it's something else, but it says it's a gel eyeshadow. So that's Innocence. I really enjoyed the eyeshadow brushes, especially the small shader brush, and they seem to be fairly high quality. The all over eye brush, and that is the all-over shadow brush is perfect for applying and layering eyeshadow to the lid. And I also felt like it worked really well working with the crease, with the corner. I thought it did a good job all around, so I would recommend the smaller of the brushes. The crease brush was a little bit stiff and a little bit thick for me to be able to really do a good job here. As far as blending goes, it was okay. It's nothing, it's a generic kind of crease brush. There wasn't anything special about it. But that little shadow brush I think was really nice. The eyeshadows themselves, I actually like the color story in here, except I didn't care for this this shade here. It gives you the heroin addict look. It's kind of that, they have it also in Comfort Zone in Wet n Wild. It's that kind of purpley, pinky, gray, green color. It shifts. It's kind of a brown, it's kind of a blue, it's kind of a green, kind of a pink. It doesn't look good under your eyes. It just makes you look like you're not feeling well. And I think that was the only failure in here. I liked the light color a lot. This light kind of ivory shade was a great base shade. And initially I thought it was going to hold pretty well, but none of the eyeshadows stayed on very long. I couldn't recommend any of them. I think the silvery blue did. Let's put it right there. The silvery blue seemed to last. None of the others really lasted though, so I wouldn't recommend the eyeshadows. I think even though the color story was kind of neat, for the price, I wouldn't recommend the eyeshadows. Eyeliners. The liquid liner, I liked the color. This one is it's a dark champagne color. Yeah, it's called dark champagne. And it's a pretty kind of brownish, bronzy tone. This applicator is really stiff. It's not a brush, it's more of a pointed sponge, and it's very stiff. I don't hear any ball in here like to shake it up like the Trooper from Kat Von D. So I don't know when this would dry out, but it does a really nice line. But it's so stiff an applicator, it's hard to control that line, and you can get little ridges. You know, if you have a shaky hand or anything like that, forget about it. Forget about it. It's way too stiff for a good control. And I don't think the line was that even that it gave. So unless you're a total expert and can do a straight line without even thinking about it, I wouldn't recommend the liquid liner. Now the regular gel liner I did like a lot. I got the olive green color. I thought that would be kind of unique. and it works really well, and it stayed really well. So it was one of the few good things in the collection was the gel eyeliner. So I would get other colors. I know they had a slate, they had a black, they had a few other colors. I would definitely recommend the eyeliner. Mascaras, I've seen the blue one demoed, so I thought I would get the other three and try them out. They all suspiciously have a similar formula to them, so I think the one that gave me the best lash was probably this one, this purple one and the gold one. I think they were very similar. It's just a difference in their brush and application. I think the gold one seemed to make the bigger eye quicker than this one did. They both make a very pretty lash. I did heat test them too, and there was just, after using this one, there was just a very slight smudging on my upper lid after a very, very hot, humid day. My car was hot when I got in it, and I was like, you know, and it was great. I mean, other than that, I think that these are fabulous mascaras. I would definitely recommend any of the mascaras. Now, I like the skinny one for the lower lashes, and also I like the separation it gives. It gives a lighter looking normal lash, so if you're not very good with mascara, you might like this because you have a lot of control with it. The purple one gives a nice pretty lash. This is more of a traditional brush, and then the gold one, I think maybe just a little more oomph because of the shape of the wand on there. So I would say any of the mascaras to me seem quite safe to use. I wouldn't hesitate recommending any of these. So personal favorite I think is this purple one. The lip gloss, icky, sticky, ugly, and it just went right into all the lines around my mouth. I didn't really care for this, and I wanted to like it because it has a slight shimmer to it. It does make a flat lipstick look pretty, but it is sticky. It's a sticky lip gloss, and yeah, I hate that. I mean, you're much better off going to like Dollar Tree and getting the LA colors, you know, rather than spending the $5 for this. Just get the LA colors, and I think it works just as well, if not better than that. So that would be my pick. The lipsticks, I tried the two lightest shades. I found the lipsticks were all medium to dark shades. There were no lighter or nude shade lipsticks, which surprised me. I got the Moroccan Spice and what is this one? Satin Crush lipstick in Moroccan Spice, and this one is Soft Rose. So this is the Soft Rose that I have on now. I actually like the lipstick, except there's a little bit of a waxy formula to it, and on the inside of your mouth you do get that butthole effect, you know, you get that kind of collection of wax on the inside of your mouth. So definitely not recommending the lipsticks, although the colors were pretty and they initially seemed to go on well. They just go right up into the lines, and I think part of that problem is the lip liner is too creamy. The lip liner is not holding the lipstick from going into the lines. And just pull that out. Lip liner is in Nudie, I think, something like that. What is it called? Barely There. It is a retractable. It looks initially like it's going to work great. It seems to draw on nicely, but I found all of the lipsticks and the gloss went right up into the little lines around my mouth. And I'm a fairly good drawer, you know, and I filled in the lipstick. I filled in the lip pencil through most of my lips as well. The color was great, the Barely There, whatever it's called. Yeah, Barely There. Color was great. It did not hold the lipstick from easing up into the little lines around my mouth. So I'm gonna have to say the lip products were definitely a fail. The Makeup Perfecting Setting Spray, really very light and pleasant smell to this, and it feels great. It feels very pleasant and light. It didn't obviously hold my makeup because all my makeup disappeared, but it was a very pleasant and refreshing setting spray. I'm not sure exactly what it does other than smell nice and feel like a light blast of water. A big hit with me, and I didn't think I would like them, are the eyelashes. I was a little skeptical, and I don't like trying new eyelash glue because it's usually in these cheapy packages. The eyelash glue sucks. This eyelash glue is clear. You couldn't see it. You couldn't see where it was going. I put it both on the lashes, and I put a little strip on my eyes as well so that I could have that double. I like on the ends, I like to have a little double duty glue so that the ends don't pop out and the lash stays straight, because these were quite straight when I pulled them off of the little holders there. So I would say that the lashes were definitely good, and this is the delicate finish is this particular pattern. This was the lightest, and it's a very natural looking lash. It doesn't look like I'm wearing false lashes. And if you're a novice at this is a great one to start with, because the band it's one of those invisible bands where when you put it on your lashes you don't see a band, you don't see a black band. And I think that's a great beginner one. So I definitely like the lashes, and I would definitely recommend those. And the glue was fine. I thought, wow, it works. Well, we'll see, we'll see on that. And if you're going to be visiting the Dollar General, that's going to be, you really have to try these things for yourself, but I'd like, I took a hit for the team here on several of these items. There's just, a few things that I thought were good. I think you can find better things in other brands. So everybody have a wonderful long weekend and have a beautiful day. Take care. Toodles.